Welcome everyone to the 3L podcast. If you're wondering what the 3L stand for, what do they stand for, Miss Rosa?
Miss Rosa. Oh no, this is like a professor student interaction that I wasn't
I want
prepared
to throw
for.
you off. I know.
It stands
Hey,
for
fellas.
it stands for life, love, and law.
We're going to dive into each one of those topics. So thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you for joining us. We just want to give you a glimpse into our lives. We didn't want this service to be about something contrived, something scripted, rehearsed. This is just a glimpse into our everyday life, and those three things encompass what we stand for. Our life, which are our family, children, love, God. God is love, and the love we have for our work and our passion for it, and then the law is what brought us together. We met in law school about 12 and a half years ago or so, and we've been rocking ever since. We do well with business. We have a lot of things coming at y'all, but this is one of them, our podcast. So this is our baby. We've been cooking it up for a little while, and now it's time to serve it on the platter. So thank you all for being here. We're very excited about this. I feel there are a lot of misconceptions about lawyers, especially lawyers of color. So we want to dispel some of those things and just kind of show what really happens, behind the curtains. People that are interested in law, you can tune in. Hopefully, you can learn something, or if you know someone in your family that's interested in law, I'm always trying to recruit people. So, and Adrena too. So we love to do that. There are not enough lawyers of color, um, specifically Black, Hispanic. So we definitely want to make sure we can change some of those numbers and to create more awareness about what we do and how we do it and how we balance everything. So that's why we have the three L's. And a 3L is really a play on words because it's a 3L is a third year law student. So once you're matriculating in law school, you're a 1L, which is a first year law student, 2L, second year law student, and 3L, which is a third year law student. And typically, once you're a 3L, you graduate, you feel like, okay, I made it out of this, and now what? And we want to kind of pick it up from there, from what next after you graduate and what happens in your career, because there are a lot of different ways you can go. It's the most, I think, Adrena, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the law degree is the most universal degree because you can do pretty much anything with it. I mean, we've known people that have gone to medical school after law school, gotten their PhD, going to all types of professions, teaching, practicing in corporate fields, so many things. So it's no limits. And I love things that are unlimited because, God doesn't put limits on us. We can do anything, through his power and might. So we're excited.
And I appreciate you saying that because as a former pre-law advisor, I definitely was able to see that it's not just a linear path. So once you graduate from law school, it's, oh, I need to become a lawyer. Well, no, there are just so many different career paths, like what you said earlier. And I think being able to see its application, especially with the work that you and I do, we're not just limited to our role as an attorney. You inspired me to become a professor, an author. And so there's just so wink. And there are just so many different paths that you can undertake, and I think it's such a beautiful journey. And with that being said, like what Bobby said earlier, we don't want this to be scripted, right? When we talk on the phone, we have like 20 million conversations and tabs all happening at once. We'll have a conversation on the phone, we'll have a conversation on social media, a text message, and it's just, but what does that look like when we sit down and actually record these conversations and the potential impact it could have on someone like yourself? So what we're going to do is just ask each other a couple of questions, and some of the questions we may know the
Oh,
answer to. This isn't an interview, this is not an interrogation. This is
right.
just so that you can delve into who we are as attorneys, as parents, as just as people and children of God. So that's where some of these questions
One
come
now.
from. Okay,
All
so
right. I'll let you go first. Ladies first.
oh, okay.
So
So let's see. I did have them in a particular order, but like our conversations, I'm just gonna go for it. So, what makes you happy?
It seems like that's a simple question, but
It's
so
loaded.
many things. It is very loaded. Um, I would say first of all, family, being around family is very therapeutic for me. I'm kind of, even though people wouldn't believe me, I'm more of a loner than an extroverted person, but it may not sound believable to people that know me, like,
Hmm. I would
but
never
I
have
really
thought that.
am. I love being by myself at times, and then I want to be around people, at times as well. But I think I need that time to replenish, recharge, and just pray and meditate and kind of energize myself, and then I can go back when my energy is right to be around people. But I love being around family. I love looking at my children. I can just look at pictures of them sometimes, and it just was overjoyed because that's my legacy. Those are they're who I'm doing this for. I love being around my family. I love traveling, going to Georgia to visit. My parents, my grandmother, my siblings, my nephews, all my aunts, uncles, and cousins. So I would say just being around people um, at church, whether whoever I'm around, energy is so infectious,
Mhm.
and I'm the type of person I smile even when I don't want to. I can't help it. I just always smile. So just being around that happy energy makes me happy first and foremost because it's priceless. Getting that joy from people and laughter. I love to laugh, so that makes me happy as well to make other people laugh. People tell me I'm funny. I don't really try to be, but I'm just who I am. And the last thing I would say is, God and the passion that He's put inside of me for the work that I do. As in law, you're a servant. We're called to serve. It's definitely a calling. People can say, oh, well, you make X amount of money or you can make this, or it's not about that. It's really about the work. And it
Mhm.
makes me happy to know that I've affected someone's livelihood. That is the most fulfilling thing that I can't even imagine. I can't even put into words how it feels, when a client hugs you and they're crying or, they're thanking God that you were sent to help them. It's priceless. So those things make me happy.
And
Now I want you to answer the
oh, you're
question.
throwing it back at me? I thought I was just asking you
Yes.
some questions.
No, I want to throw it back at you. I like that one.
But I do want to comment on what you said. I feel like it's so true with everything
Mhm.
that you've said. I think something about you and the reason why people gravitate towards you is because your willingness to help. And God is using you for that purpose, and the impact that you make, it's just it's invaluable. And someone like myself, I have 12 years. I've been spoiled. I've been spoiled with your influence and with your motivation, inspiration. And, sometimes when I think about it, I do get emotional because I think people don't truly understand the impact, the positive impact someone can have, because it makes you realize that there is no boundaries when it comes to your potential, when it comes to the person that you can be. And when you have someone who cheers for you, someone who believes in you, and at times more than you believe in yourself, I think it just makes it's a game changer. And that's why I'm just so grateful for 12 and a half years of friendship, of really, siblinghood. So, but answering your question about what makes me happy, you're absolutely right. Family would obviously be like number one for me. But I think as I've gotten older, it's also realizing that I'm no longer trying to set uh set goals, and making whether or not I accomplish those goals in a certain time frame contingent on my happiness. I think for me, it's always saying if I don't accomplish this by this time, then I'm not going to be happy. Or I think it's really trying to enjoy the process, like the interim of trying to achieve something, and really celebrating those smaller milestones, and not basing my happiness on the bigger milestones to gauge whether or not I've been successful, whether or not I am happy in life. And I think that for me, as I've gotten older, I've appreciated the moments where it's just, well, you know what, maybe where I am and where I'm going doesn't look like what I thought, what I envisioned when I first established
Mhm.
that goal, but it's okay, it's all right. And I've learned to let go, and I've just found so much more happiness. I'm more at ease. I'm not stressing out over it, and I think that that's the beauty and in those moments, and that's what makes me happy.
Absolutely. It's so important what you said about not stressing over things not going your way because we have so many plans and we have so many things we want to do. We want them done in this time frame and this, you know, the confines of this and this what it looks like to us, which is cool, which is okay. You can have a vision and you definitely should have a vision and vision boards or write things down
Mhm.
and set goals. And then once you achieve those, set new goals. But the way you achieve it may not look like how you achieved it, but you still achieved it.
Mhm.
And that's what matters. You got to the end. If you run a race, you may not finish first, you may not finish second, but you still finished. Whether you have to walk some or crawl, you still got to the end of the finish line. And sometimes you have to. You might pass out. You have to get back up or have someone help you up. And that's okay too, because life is a journey. You're gonna win. Sometimes you're gonna be first, sometimes you may be last. But either way, you still finish and got to that goal. There's many things in my life that I've set, you know, goals that I've set in certain timelines that did not line up with that.
Who you telling?
God does not care.
Right.
You understand, you feel me on that. But it's just the main thing is you get to that goal. You don't give up. And that's the part that inspires people. And, people have told me they've been inspired by my story, which I'll get into more with this podcast. But, I feel like we go through things for other people.
Right.
God had us go through it so it could help somebody else. It's not about me. It's not about you or any of us. We're here to help other people. And I just love the fact that, you're seeing so many things in your life right now that you've manifested and you set those goals and you work so hard. I've seen you work hard and you're one of the most genuine people I've ever met. I mean, hands down, and you deserve it all. So I'm definitely glad to see those things manifest in your life, and there's many more things to come.
Can
So,
we sing it? You deserve it. I want to hear you sing what you always tell me on
oh
the
God,
phone.
really?
We're keeping it real. That was you would sing. You would sing at least a part of it. Come on now.
I haven't seen that in a while, but um, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
The gospel song,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's one of my favorites. And yeah, you really got me on the spot right now.
It's
I
just
don't know if
us.
the singing is like makes me nervous. Even though I sing every Sunday in church, I'm
Right.
still nervous. Like
And you lead
literally every
songs.
Sunday for 14 years, and I still get nervous every time.
And you sung at
It doesn't get any
graduation.
easier.
You sung at
Oh yeah, I
graduation.
sang the national anthem. Yeah, yeah, that was fun, but I was super nervous. Yeah, I'll sing maybe at the end.
In other words,
All right.
no.
Are you trying to avoid my question
I already answered your
or
question.
deflecting?
I
No, I
already
have one of my own that I'm coming up with for you.
so the second question is go ahead, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I'm
You can go
serious.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So I have a lot of questions for you, but the main question I want to know, well, I don't know. It's not the main question because I have many questions for you. But I'll start out with a simple one because I don't want to put you, you know, too much on the spot. We'll ease into this thing.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
In law school, did they prepare you in the way that we thought we would be
no, they
prepared
did
for it?
not.
So then you know what? That's how we learned. That's how we learned.
No, they did not. They threw us right into the mix, and that's what they're doing right now. All right. Let's kind of break the ice. So we kind of dove right in, and I want to I want to ask you about one of the topics, but I'll kind of leave that for maybe a later episode
Sure.
because we're just kind of keeping it light.
Okay.
Um, how do you
Uh-oh.
how do you stay motivated? What things motivate you?
Okay. I think looking at that question from an adulthood point of view, it's
Hmm.
my son, hands down. It's my son. So Bobby and I, we both, had children who were born in 2020. Our youngest, they are 4 months apart. And I actually had this conversation with a client the other day. And for those of you who don't know, I consult students who are trying to get into law school. And she also gave birth 4 months ago. And so, she was actually asking herself, and I promise I'll bring this back to your question, but it feeds into my answer because she was just trying to find the time. She was just trying to figure out whether this was the next natural step for her or how to keep going when she's tired, especially, about the 4-month regression when, you think you have it down pack after 4 months and then all of a sudden they're not sleeping or they're not eating. And
Right.
I told her there's no more of a greater motivation than looking into her daughter's eyes and seeing, like you can do this. You're doing it obviously most importantly for yourself and because God put you on this earth to fulfill that purpose, but you're doing it for her as well. And what lesson are you then giving her? So now when I do things, it's not just a matter of can I do it? Will I do it? But what lesson am I instilling in my son, in Aaron? And when I look at him, I feel like I can do everything and anything that I am possible, that I can just move mountains. I honestly believe it. And before it took a little bit more convincing. And it's one thing when you hear from some people. And the way I feel about how I can accomplish things, it's how I feel when you and I talk on the phone, right? It's just like, where's my BF, right? Where's my Bobby Ficklin? And I need some of that. I just your words to inject me with that motivation. And sometimes it's looking at my son, it's having conversations with you and kind of really thinking about the bigger picture and how the day to day can help me achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve. It's knowing that what you said earlier, it's you're not doing all these things for yourself. You're doing it for, for other people. Your story is for other people.
Absolutely.
You are in the service of others. And I think that's one thing that when you do enter the field of law, that's primarily what you're doing, regardless if you're doing, public interest work or corporate law, it doesn't matter. You're still in the service of others. And I think that that's what motivates me, knowing that the work that I'm doing is to help and benefit and advance whatever goals other people might have. And in turn, allow me to still accomplish my goals and fulfill my dreams and my vision.
Absolutely. I can echo that same sentiment because I don't know if people really grasp that. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this as well. We both talked about this as well, that people may not know coming into law, you work for your client. Like it's service. I hear lawyers talk down to their clients. I'm like, they hired you. So that's essentially your boss for this transaction. So you would think there'd be a certain level of respect, and sometimes it's lacking. Sometimes it's not. Clients still have to let us do our job and
Mhm.
strategize the way we feel is best for their case. That's why they hired us to begin with. But I still feel that there's a certain level of decorum that comes with the rapport with the client. Like they have to trust you. The number one thing a client can tell me is whatever you think is best. I love hearing those words. Cause I'm like, okay, they trust me. And 90% of the time I hear that. And I love hearing it because it gives me the freedom to be able to make the decisions without thinking, okay, I need to run it by them because I can't work that way.
Or be
You hired
micromanaged.
me to do
Yeah.
what's right. And I don't need that. Give me your issue. I'll troubleshoot that and we'll go from there. And that's what we're doing. We're problem solving, we're fixing. I mean, that's what lawyers do. We fix problems or issues for other people and to make their life easier. We take
Mhm.
on that burden. And that's the price that we pay, for example, because there is a sacrifice. We may get paid well in some instances, praise God.
Mhm.
But there is a price. There are going to be some sleepless nights. There are going to be some times where you got some gray hair popping up because the stress or anxiety or excitement, of doing this work. It will keep you up. I've had plenty of nights when I'm strategizing in my head and not sleeping, and I'll get out the bed because I have some ideas and I have to get them on, jot them down. So I need to go to my computer
He's the
in the
kind
middle
of
of the night.
person who will go to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning, and then he's up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I think that's something that's just so empowering and it's just wow, because it's because Bobby generally loves doing what he does. And you can't teach passion. You just can't.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I definitely do. I love it. I've always wanted to do this. And, shout out to my parents because even as a little black boy growing up in the South, they didn't tell me I couldn't do it. And so I always believed I could because my parents never told me I couldn't. So when I came to them in second grade, when I was 7, not fully even knowing what an attorney was, I said that's what I wanted to do because I liked standing up for people. I like advocating for people. I like knowing what my rights were. I like knowing what I'm entitled to, even at that age, because I would hear about injustices, that would happen in history or even at that time. And I wanted to fight for other people and for myself. And so when I said I wanted to pick that profession, my second grade teacher, shout out to Miss Hicks, she asked me what she asked our class, what do we want to do? And at first, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And I was like, okay, that's probably far fetched. This is my mind as a 7-year-old thinking like this, which is crazy. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could be a firefighter because my uncle was a firefighter, my Uncle Philip. And then, and I really looked up to him. So I was like, oh, maybe I could do that. I was like, nah, I don't want to be run out of burning buildings. So like, nah, that's too dangerous. Then I'm like, okay, maybe an architect because I like to design things
I didn't know
but I
that.
was well, I can't draw. So I was like,
I can't do math, so
I
that's
didn't really
why
get to
I didn't want
drawing.
to become an architect in the 5th grade because I don't do math. But I thought about architect. That I didn't know that.
Yeah, I like to design things, but I know how I can visualize it, but
Yes,
I didn't know I didn't know if I could put it on paper the way I visualize it. So I'm like,
same
okay, that's
here.
probably not for me. So when I decided on the lawyer, I never wavered from 7 years old to now, and that was 30 years, 12 years ago. And I never wavered because once I chose that profession, I did consider other things, of course, but I was like, no, this is the one that I feel like I can help people the most. It wasn't about the money or anything because I didn't even know what they made back then. I know it was sounded good, and I didn't know a lawyer at that age, but I seen some on TV. I really never knew any lawyer growing up, not personally. So until I was in college, I had never really spoke to a lawyer to even find out what they did. Actually, no, I interviewed a judge when I was in high school through a youth leadership Bibb County program. But and so it made me want to be a judge when I talked to him because I'm like, wow, I could take it a step further than just being a lawyer. I could be a judge, have more
Okay,
influence.
magistrate. Spoken
Well,
into existence.
praise
Even
God.
then, yeah.
I didn't really know what I was speaking fully because I still didn't know 100% what they did. I just know what I saw on TV. But I just felt like I can make an impact. And that's what I do, try to do at work now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not everyone, don't ever feel like you have to know, basically coming out of the womb that you want to become an attorney. I think that sometimes that love grows as you get older and you
Absolutely.
realize that's something that you want to do. Maybe when you are finding yourself applying to
Mhm.
law school, and that didn't come for me until senior year of high school. And it's not necessarily because I always knew I wanted to become a lawyer, but I think that now looking back, I wouldn't have it any other way.
And senior high school is still early because honestly, until you get to college and you're
Oh,
like
that's what I
maybe
meant.
halfway through.
I misspoke. I meant senior year of college. What am I
Oh,
talking
college,
about?
okay.
I'm like, wait a minute. Nothing. I misspoke. I
Well, that
misspoke.
sounds good. Because that way you kind of know, all right, you can take classes about different things in college. That's why I tell my daughter, like, when you get to college, you'll learn, about so many different things. Just keep your major broad and keep your mind open, and God will lead you where you need to go. You'll have an interest in this class as opposed to this one. And so don't be so locked in on a certain major, just kind of go and keep an open mind. And just you'll figure it out once you
Yeah.
get there.
And
So
the beauty of law is that you don't need a specific major. There is no, a lot of
mhm.
universities don't even have pre-laws. It's not even a major, it's a track. And so essentially you can even major in zoology if you wanted to and still apply to law school. So I think that that's the beauty of being able to keep your mind open, like what you said. So that's very important.
It's funny you said zoology because that's what my daughter wants to do.
It's the first thing that popped in my head. Maybe I was thinking about
Exactly.
Amara, so I'm not sure.
I was
But
like, did I
yes,
tell you that? But that's funny that you
it
said it.
just
But yeah,
popped
that's
into my
exactly
head.
what it is.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, no, just keep it biology. That way it can be broad. So that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna major in biology, but proud of her. At any rate, that was a good answer. I liked what you said, so I'll let you go with the next question.
Yes. I think we can wrap it up with this following question.
Okay.
What are 3 words you would use to describe me? But before you answer that, I want to preserve other questions for the next podcast or maybe later down the line, because I enjoy asking these questions and hearing from you, because sometimes you think I know 12 years of getting to know you a little bit better, but then it's just finding out new things. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So okay, so going back to the question, what are 3 words, phrases, things, whatever you would use to describe me? I'm a little nervous to hear what you would say, but
That's a great question. I didn't expect to get stumped, but one one question, I mean one answer I can say is, um, I guess out of personality traits, I'll kind of start with those three. For one, I already said you were genuine, one of the most genuine people I know. You know, you lead with your heart. You don't really wear your heart on your sleeve because you're a tough Bronx Latina, um, Afro Latina. Let me put that in. Um, but I love the way that you are, you know, very genuine with people and connect with people because that speaks, you know, to your family. That speaks to how you were raised, your values. You know, I connect, you know, with people that are genuine and real recognizes real. You know, Tupac said it best. Real eyes realize, realize. So you can tell when somebody's being honest and genuine and it just resonates with you, even if you don't like what they're saying, or if you do, you know they're being themselves. And I can take that, whether
Mhm.
somebody's crazy or whatever they are, as long as they're being them, I know what I'm getting. I don't have to guess. So I appreciate that. But no, I feel like the fact that you're so genuine, it helped us to cultivate a friendship because you know, you were first year law student when I was a third year law student. I wasn't looking for any new friends. You know, I never saw it coming. But again, when you meet somebody that's real, you know, you join the Black Law Student Association, and I was president at the time, and you joined with some of your friends and you became a mentee, so to speak. And it resonated with me what you said because you was just very real. You was just very straight to the point. You were very straightforward back then, in a lot of instances. Rough around the edges from the Bronx, you know, straight up New York. And I had never been around a lot of people from New York, like very few. And I thought I knew the ones I had been around, you know, I thought they were straight, no chaser, but no, we were like very straight, no chaser. And but I appreciate people from, I guess, from New York because of that. You know, in the South, we're kind of, you know, we're real, but you know, kind of politically correct sometimes, and don't really say what we really want to say sometimes because we're trying to be nice about it. But you was just like, it is what it is. And so I respect that because I've seen the growth and maturity in you, you know, now being in your you know.
I'm 35 and I'm proud. I'm
Look, I don't tell
35.
a woman's age. I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
care. I'm alive.
I
I'm
don't tell a woman's
healthy.
age. Absolutely.
I'm
No, it's a
all good.
blessing, but
Yeah,
I just don't tell it.
it's okay.
I let you do it. But I mean, you still look like 25 anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the fact that you're genuine, I love the passion that you have also because you know, you're a woman of your word. And if you say you're going to do something, you do it, you work hard, you grind. You know, a lot of times if I text you in the morning, I'm like, rise and grind.
Right,
And I don't even say good morning, not like,
right,
rise and grind, let's go.
right,
And it may be 6 a.m. and you'll be
right.
like, all right, let's go.
I'm like, I've
Because
been
that's
up.
just that right. You I've been up already an hour. I'm like, okay. So I'm sure you have. But I like the fact that, you know, we'll challenge each other.
Right.
And that to me is the best part of having a friend that's like-minded because we can really push each other and motivate each other to do the goals that we set out to do. Like, no, you said you were doing this. All right, what's up with that? Have you finished
Accountability.
that? Where are you at? Where
Right.
exactly? And that's what I appreciate, the accountability from, you know, and we give it to each other because you definitely give it back to me. And I need it. I need it for sure because it keeps me on track. I can wander off sometimes. I don't want to say I have ADHD, but I definitely get distracted easily. Okay, look,
Does he?
I'm not speaking ADHD, but I get distracted, but I try to do so many things. I don't want to get stretched too thin because I want to complete the thing. I don't like finishing things and not, I don't like starting things and not finishing them. And I usually, I'm gonna finish it. But I like the fact that, your passion is infectious and it helps to keep me in line with my goals as well. And I'm glad I can do that for you. So the genuineness, your passion, um, and the last thing, I don't know, it's hard to pick one
I think
other
you said a
thing, but
mouthful too. Yeah, yeah.
I think I probably, yeah, have said everything. But the last thing I will say, your humor, because you are funny, even though you don't realize it, because a
No.
lot of things you say, because you're so straightforward and the way you say it fast and with your Bronx
That's
accent
how
and
I
your
feel about
Jamaican
you and your
accent,
Southern accent.
it's hilarious to me. I
That's
know
how
you
I
laughing at me, and
feel.
I'm like, what? What you laughing at?
Yes.
Because it's just the way you say it. It's funny, I don't know, you're not even trying to be funny half of the time, but yeah, I could quote you on some words, but I'll just leave that one alone. Maybe down the line we'll give some of that away. But yeah, I feel like those three things, you're genuine, passionate, because you're passionate, your heart, and then your humor, because you definitely keep me laughing. And we share a lot of laughs that,
Yeah.
make the day more lighthearted sometimes, especially when I'm having like a heavy day. I call you or another friend, Beverly, Demetrius, somebody who I know is going to keep me lighthearted,
Tasha.
laughing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I can't call Tasha because she's so overprotective of me, even though very grown, but big sister. She's very overprotective, and she'll be like, "All right, let's get them." But I, but I call her a lot of times too. But yeah, I like to keep things light. I don't take things too seriously at all. Most things I'm like, it's not that deep. Brush it off your shoulder and keep it moving.
And I
So
think
thanks for
that's
keeping me in that vein.
I think a lot of it also has to do with just our compatibility, and it took time. It's
Mhm.
not something that, oh my gosh, the day one of our friendship or the first within the first 24 hours, it was just instant in that way, in the way that it is today, right? I think there was a lot of us, a lot of growth on both our ends. We both had to mesh. We come from different backgrounds, especially from you being from the South. And sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, you take forever. Like you're so slow. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But then you would tell me, all you do is, and then you would walk too fast, you would talk too
Fast.
fast. Right. And then you actually taught me, and I'm still learning, right? Because this is a journey about patience and kind of slowing down. And I appreciate that. And if you would have asked the younger version of myself, I would have been like, no, I'm from New York City. I'm a very fast track I have a fast-paced mentality, and I think that I'm able to appreciate the now more because of you, because of your upbringing and what you brought to this friendship as just one of the many, 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 many things that I guess I could say I've I've gained from just being in your presence. And I guess if I was to
Oh,
answer the
thank you.
same question about you, and
Yeah, go ahead.
it's so
Great
crazy
question.
because you and I, when we talk, right, it's not just, so what do you like the most about me, and my personality or and the work? It's just something that we just kind of
No,
compliment
we have never talked about
naturally.
this before,
That's
really.
why I wanted to ask that question,
Yeah.
because it wasn't because we wouldn't be able to, but I think it would have involved a little bit more reflecting as opposed to just speaking and presenting those qualities as, as in our conversations and having
Mhm.
it be more natural. But there's just so many things.
Absolutely.
There's so many things. I think that's why I'm just so happy to be doing this with you, because of just who you are. It's just the whole package, right? It's someone who is very honest, right? You're very transparent. You've been a mentor since day one. I know you say that, you've learned a lot of things from me, but really I feel like I'm the selfish one, right? Because I feel like I'm just, oh, what would Bobby think? Or let me ask Bobby, or let me pull out some answers, right? Because you could be charging for this advice. Like, you give very good advice. And what I appreciate about that advice giving is that you remove yourself from our friendship, and then you're able to give me advice from an impartial stand point. And the fact that you are a judge, I mean, obviously, I mean, you're a lawyer, you're fighting on behalf of your client, and trying to get the most positive and favorable result for your client, right? But then when you're a
Mhm.
judge, you're more impartial. And that's the advice that you give me. I feel like I can ask you things that are super personal that I may not share with other people, and you're able to remove yourself from our friendship and give me some real sincere advice and still look out for my best interest. I think it's very hard to balance the two, and the fact that you do it so seamlessly, I think says a lot about who you are. And then
Oh, thank you.
also, let's see, there's just so many. I love how hard you love. I feel like you talked about your sister being very protective of you, but those are values and experiences that you have from, growing up, and you are the same way. You are the same way with your family. You're very protective over, the Ficklins, over all of your children, over your wife, over your siblings, and especially, and even over me, over my son. And I think it's such a beautiful thing because, you care and you love hard, and you don't think about. I think oftentimes it could be, something that would say, no, no, Bobby, put yourself first. But the fact that you constantly put others before you and you're just so selfless, you don't expect anything in return, just makes me want to be a better person for someone else because I'm able to see
Wow.
you live that way. And I don't want to say for the last 12 and a half years, because even though I wasn't present prior to those 12 and a half years, I know, and I'm sure I can talk to your mom. I can interview, your teachers, Miss Hicks, right, from the second grade. I'm sure they would be able to to say this similar things. The last one would be that I don't want to use the humor part because again, you did use it. And I do I do agree with you, especially being from the South. That I think when you speak sometimes it's just funny, or when you say certain basic words and then you add your own twist to it. I'm like, it's just hilarious, and you haven't said any. And if someone else were to say that same thing, I'll be like, okay. But when it's coming from you, I'm just rolling, I'm just having fun. And you're right, it does make my days like 10 times better, especially when I'm having a low day. But the last trait is that I love how much I can be myself with you 24/7. 24/7. I love how you are able to really read into what the person needs without them expecting or asking. Sometimes it's just a listening ear. I love that you're just there, you're present, even when I don't want you to be sometimes. I'm like, but you're just committed. You're just so loyal, you're faithful. And I think that that's something that I would never put a price tag on. And I'm just, again, I'm grateful and I'm appreciative, and I love our friendship.
Wow. Well, that kind of blew me away. Thank you. Um, wow. I'm not used to hearing things like that. It's just like it means a lot. I could just say that. I don't like getting emotional and thinking about emotional things because I'm just like, ugh. But no, this stuff though, I mean, yeah, I'm very modest with compliments, but I know it's coming from a genuine place with you. And yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I really didn't expect this to go this way, this
Yeah,
conversation,
yeah, I just let it
because I'm
flow.
like,
Yeah,
no, it was just flowing. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It's not contrived, it's not scripted, it's not fake. I don't want any of that stuff. It's like this has to be organically who we are,
because that's how
and
we are
that's
off
all we can
camera.
give. Right.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter if the camera's there or not.
Mhm.
It is what it is.
Mhm.
So we don't have anybody to impress. We don't have anybody to, get validation from. I mean, we're already valid
Right. Right. Right.
in the
Right.
eyes of God. So that's all that matters. But yeah, no, I appreciate this conversation because not often we get a chance, just as people to talk to friends and have uplifting conversations and hear what your friends really think about you. Like, so wow, it really means a lot. It's like a Hallmark card that somebody wrote specifically for you,
Right.
and it means a lot. It really hits home. And wow, I thank you. Appreciate it.
And it's
I didn't know
funny
you
that,
felt like that
yeah.
about so many things. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
You make it easy to say those things. And I think that that's something about our friendship. And it's not limited to just our friendship. It's also reflected in the business work and projects that we do have lined up as well. It's like that's in sincerity, those core values that really allow us to progress and succeed in the work that we do and accomplish the things that we say we're going to do because we feed off of each other, right? We see each other.
Absolutely.
We see each
Yeah, we
other.
do. And I feel like that's important because, our goals have been aligned from the beginning. And that's why we kind of connected so much. Even though I was ahead of you in school, I saw where you were going and your path, and I saw the hustle and the motivation and the passion you had and how family oriented you were. And I'm like, I'm the same way.
Hmm.
We're both away from home. And you do connect more with friends when you're in a similar situation. We were all in law school away from our families. And it was just great to have somebody that you feel like, you know, I can connect with on a deeper level because, we have similar backgrounds.
Hmm.
Put it this way, a lot of people in law school came from backgrounds where they had money or they had, success or wealth. The family had wealth. We're first generation. So let's just keep it a buck. We had no blueprint. It was like, this is the goal we have in mind, and this is our pathway to get here, and nothing's gonna stop me from getting it.
Right.
And that's the motivate. That's really what we connected on. Like, we didn't come here to play. Like, we came here to do our thing. God willing, we're gonna make it through this and go on about our business and create a legacy for our family. That's what we connected on. And we're still on that path now,
Yeah.
12 years later. We just have both
Yes.
graduated and gotten our, law degrees, gotten our licenses. We're both licensed attorneys now, praise God. But it was a journey,
Hmm.
getting to that point.
And we'll talk
That's a
about that
whole
too.
nother, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
that probably
podcast.
take a whole chapter, a season of podcast
Right,
to get there.
right, right,
But there are people out there that know some of our stories, but it's great that we can share because I feel like these are stories that are not talked about.
right.
You hear about the successes, but you don't hear about people's failures or their journey or how they got somewhere. You may have gotten to that destination, but did you run out of gas? Did you take a wrong turn? Did you bump your car on the railing and have to get your car fixed? Did your oil light come on? Like, what happened on that journey? Not
Yeah.
just, you got from A to B. Something had to happen in between. So it's like really A to Z because it's all
Right.
those other letters in between for a reason. You had a journey. So
And
what was that?
yeah.
We don't want to see the beauty part, the
Yes.
beautiful part of it, the graduation and the cookout, but we want to see
That's easy
what
to
led to
show up.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Those are the pictures you see on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, the great pictures, the picture in the best light. No, what about what happened? What are the
Yeah.
outtakes? What about those pictures that you deleted?
And
We want to see
that's
all of it, the
yeah.
good, bad, and the ugly.
And
That's what we came to show.
that's a layer that also strengthened our friendship and really connected us on a whole other level. Forget about having similarities and similar,
Yeah.
upbringings, but I think that you and I were both struggling together, struggling and yes, in different and the same way, but we connected over, just cheering each other on and being a bystander to those struggles. And I think that now looking back, it's just I appreciate you as just a person, right? Because you're more than just a lawyer, you're more than just a magistrate, you're more than just, uh everything else that greatness that's coming your way. And I feel like that's why we're able to kind of appreciate each other because we weren't giving things. We weren't, it wasn't just we woke up and here's your law degree. We had to bust our behinds, and it took a lot of work, it took a lot of strength, it took a lot of faith, it took a village. And I think that for the fact that you were able to see what I had to go through and I was able to see what you went through, it just makes me appreciate you and your accomplishments, because if there's one person that I know that deserves it unequivocally and just without question, no questions asked, I would. And remember I told you about if I won the lottery ticket, I think I told you this like years ago. If God said, here's a ticket, and then I would give it to you in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think about it. I'm like, no, here, because I know you'll take
No,
that one. I know you'll take that one winning ticket and you'll figure out a way to multiply it and then benefit and help other people. And for me, that's what I love about it. And that's why I said what I said about giving
well,
you that winning lottery ticket.
I want to flip that money, so you'll get back double
Yeah.
what you gave me. But
But that's something I wouldn't even think
I
about.
like
I
that
would
challenge.
just yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
but thank you for even saying that. I mean, I'm like, when you told me that a few years ago, I'm like, wow.
yeah,
'Cause I know you meant it.
yeah,
I could have been like, yeah, right. But no, I know you really
yeah,
meant it. You wouldn't say it if
yeah,
you didn't.
Yeah.
You definitely
Yeah.
don't say anything just because. No, you don't
Yeah.
say it if you don't mean it. And I just appreciate that. So yeah, our journey again,
It's
is
ongoing.
it's still a journey, but yeah, that's the thing people don't talk about, just the struggles and the times we broke. I mean, just down and out, and
Yeah.
you know, you have to be there to lift each other up, and that's what we gave each other on our journey, and still do, because even though now we might be, have some level of success, but there's still going to be obstacles we face in the workplace. I mean, there's systems in place that do not want to see us succeed. I mean, that's just real talk. But we can overcome that, and our faith has gotten us to this point, so it can get us even higher.
Right.
We're seeing history in the making in our lifetime in a lot of different ways. People have overcome things because a lot of people haven't seen it before. Sometimes you're the first, and that's okay. Somebody has to do it and break down that wall and that barrier, but it's okay because you have other people that can come behind you now once they see you do it. So that's what we hope to do in our families and all the children we mentor and those types of things, and our own children, because we're telling them you can do it, you can be whatever you want to be. Well, we have to live those things too. We have to take our own advice and make sure we are doing what we're telling them to do. And we can't be strong for them if we're not strong for ourselves. So we have to. That is motivation as well, because I can't tell a kid, don't give up, don't quit, stay motivated, all the
Meanwhile,
things. And then meanwhile, we're down and out and having a pity party. No,
right.
you can be hurt, you can be in your feelings, but don't stay there long.
Yes.
And know this too shall pass, and know that, God is faithful to his word. So he's put that desire in our heart to be these people that can bring about change, and we have to live that out. So go see what the end is going to be.
I hear
I've
that.
enjoyed this. So,
Yeah, same here.
wow.
I'm glad like you said, it wasn't scripted. It's just a
No,
day-to-day conversation. And I think that's such a great way to say goodbye to our listeners and really know that this isn't the end, but really the beginning of something that's going to be truly phenomenal.
yes, absolutely. Thank you all so much for tuning in. The ones that have tuned in, hopefully you can bring somebody else the next time. We hope to give you content that you can use and to help motivate you and to inspire you. That's really why we're here. Not to just talk about what we do, but we want to talk about it in terms of helping other people do the same thing and going beyond where we go. We
Right.
want to go to higher heights, and we want them to go even higher than that.
Right.
So whatever we can do to help, eventually we want to have people call in, or
Yes, I was just gonna
have
say that.
other
Yeah.
people ask questions and chime in. I think that would be a lot of fun. But the main thing is just be here to inspire people. That's what we want to do. So I listen to podcasts so often, and I've never heard one like this. And that's why in business and marketing, you learn you have to be that void in the marketplace. What does the world need that it doesn't have? And you have to figure that out and give the world that. And if that's something that you're passionate about and it lines up with your goals, why not? So I don't necessarily like hearing myself talk. I don't like talking a lot. But
You
I
don't? I
feel
didn't know
like
that.
I don't. I really don't, because it takes so much energy. I'm like tired if I have a long conversation. I'm like drained. But when
Meanwhile,
it's a good
we could
conversation,
talk for hours, but okay.
we have talked for hours before, because there's so many things we're passionate about and so many
Hmm.
different topics. We could, we haven't done it in a long time because now we got kids and family and all that.
Right,
But
right, right, right.
we still, when we do talk, it's meaningful and it's something that impactful and inspiring. And so that's all that matters. But I do love inspiring people and touching the people. So for me, this is great. This is a good start to what we plan to do and the vision that we had. I didn't know it would go this way, but when it's aligned with God, things go better than what you expect. So
Yeah.
that's the blessing. So
And we'll see you
signing
next
off.
week. We'll see you next week, same time and Friday morning, but we'll figure that part out.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna give it time.
No, we
But
won't.
we know that you will tune in the next time.
Right.
I
Right.
hope that's what we're hoping. So thank you all for being here. It's a blessing to share these moments with you. And we hope to keep going. Hopefully you enjoy. If you have any ideas or any feedback, any suggestions, feel free to drop us a comment. So we'll have to drop our
A YouTube
social
link and
media.
everything, since we're going to upload it on YouTube. So we will be creating a channel specifically for a podcast so that we can upload it, and certainly include our own social media as well if you want to reach out to us
I
personally.
think we have to make our own 3L social media.
Yeah, the
Work
real.
on that too.
Yeah. But until next time.
All right, we love y'all. 3L.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Wait, is it reflecting on the opposite end? So 3L,
Yeah,
like this,
it's opposite.
like this.
Oh no. Go back to the other way.
I'm like, 3L. Oh, I love that. That's how we can end it. Oh, you can be the 3 and I'll be the L, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next time.
You be the 3 and I'll be the L.
Okay.
So I think that's the way we're sitting. Peace. Threes, not peace.
Oh, threes. Love it. I'm here for it. We see each other. We 3 each other.
We 3 each other.
I don't know. I don't know. I know, right?
All right. Cheers. Well, I don't have anything else in mind.
Me either. I just finished. I thought I had a little bit more, and I'm just like, oh, let me just. And I didn't want to stop, so I just put.
Well, mine was empty from the beginning. I just played it off. I was like,
I just put some protein drink in it, and then I prefer to drink it from the bottle because it's one less dish to wash.